welcome to episode 4 of Cream of the Crop. I'm your host, Pam Montanez, and today I am joined by some, honestly, I would compare two of you in this room to emoji type people.
Oh.
Like, every time I see them, it's just the biggest smiles. I think that this is a fitting movie, actually. And of course, Joe Montanez is here. The two emojis I was talking about, Tessa and Chandler Cooper, Springfield celebs. Everybody knows and loves these two, and today I get them on the show.
Happy to be
Today's
here.
movie is the Emoji Movie. Real quick, lightning round. If you were an emoji, what would you be? Joe?
I would probably be glass of whiskey at the Whiskey Fix for my listeners out there. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
You know that I don't really have that many listeners, right?
Well, it's shameless plug either way.
Okay. All right. Chandler?
I would be the frog emoji.
Oh.
For no reason, I just really like the frog emoji.
Interesting.
It's a nice looking
Yeah,
emoji.
yeah.
That's good.
Tessa?
You know, I'm having a hard time. I'm looking at my most recently used emojis, and I really like the flower one. Or the
Which
leaf
flower?
Yeah,
the
there's a
leaf
bunch.
one is what
The
I mean.
leaf one, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
The the one
It's
with
like a stem with
Little
like a
flowy
few
leaves.
leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I think I'd be the bottom of the foot emoji, which I didn't know existed until 5 minutes ago.
You found yourself.
I found myself in that emoji. All right, so yeah, we watched Emoji Movie. We just watched it and came over to the table to talk about it. Did we already say? We already talked about what it is rated on Rotten Tomatoes.
No, I don't
No,
think
we
so.
haven't
actually.
done
Oh, I
that.
didn't say. Did you guys didn't look it up after
I
we?
think you did.
No, I haven't looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
Oh,
No.
okay.
So I don't know.
Any guesses?
Is it like a 17%? I mean,
It's 17 or lower,
Oh,
right?
17 or
For
lower.
it's everything
to
we
be
can
on
do.
the show, it's 17
Okay.
or lower. Yeah.
I'm going to go with a solid 2.
Hey, that's what it can't be any more than a 2. I don't know how anyone could have liked it.
I'm going to be more optimistic since it had so many big name actors. I know that doesn't mean anything, but I really think Maya Rudolph delivered.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah, I think she did a great job. So I'm going to say 4.
Maya Rudolph gave it an extra 2%.
Really hyped. All right. Well, surprise! It got a 7%.
Oh,
okay.
So
good for it.
yeah, good for that movie. I'm gonna read a synopsis of the movie for all of our listeners who have not seen it or heard of it. So, this animated comedy takes place in Textopolis, a world inside a smartphone that's inhabited by various emojis. There, an emoji named Gene, voiced by T.J. Miller, is ashamed that he has multiple facial expressions, while his colleagues only have one each, and he embarks on a quest to be like everyone else. James Corden, Anna Faris, Jennifer Coolidge, Patrick Stewart, and Maya Rudolph also lend their voices to this film from Sony Pictures Animation. Notice in that synopsis that I got from Rotten Tomatoes, it basically just named the cast. It didn't really say what the movie was about. Much to how I felt watching the movie. We kept wondering, wait, what is the point of this? Main cast, like I just named, T.J. Miller, James Corden, Anna Faris, Jennifer Coolidge, Patrick Stewart, Maya Rudolph, with cameos from Christina Aguilera, who else? Sophia
Guevara?
Yeah.
Vigera?
Modern Family.
from
Lady,
Modern
right?
Modern
Yeah.
Family. She
who
talked
else?
like this.
Oh no.
Okay, please edit that out.
Yeah. Was there any other cameos? I felt like there's one.
Pitbull.
Oh, Pitbull song.
Just the
Oddly
song.
enough,
Did
I'm
we say
noticing,
Rachel Ray yet?
Oh,
Rachel Ray.
Yeah.
For some reason.
I'm noticing that this is the second movie that you've done that has a
Pitbull.
Pitbull song as
Yeah.
the main theme.
Pitbull did the main theme song to Gotti, the last movie we watched.
Yeah.
Again, oddly placed in the movie. I mean, I feel like it made more sense for this movie than it
Yes.
did in Gotti, but...
Yeah.
All right, this movie's rated PG. The director is Anthony Leondis. His highest rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes is Lilo and Stitch 2. Stitch Has a Glitch, rated 40%.
Okay.
Wow.
Lowest rated movie is Emoji Movie.
Makes sense.
All right, and the critics' consensus of this movie is just the emoji that is a red circle with a line through it.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yes.
what their consensus is. All right, so let's jump in. I like to start on a positive note. What did you guys like about the movie?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a hard one.
I'll say it did make me laugh. But probably for the wrong reasons. It's laughably bad.
Agreed.
It's entertaining, you know. It held
It
my
is.
attention.
Except I felt like every 5 minutes we're like, this has to be almost over, right? Or was that just
No,
me?
for sure.
I definitely felt that.
Or at least I hope so.
Yeah,
But I watched it. Like I didn't like look at my phone or anything like that.
That's true.
I was
That's true.
invested in it.
that's true.
Probably for not the right reasons, but
I think that one scene that stood out to me was the beautiful scene with the parent emojis in Paris.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
all the details in there. I could really get lost in that picture.
Yeah,
It was just such a good moment.
it was pretty.
that's our one movie highlight.
There we go.
I'm really trying to think of
Yeah.
anything positive.
The the WeChat thing was almost kind of funny. Like
yes.
that was clever to throw in there, but it didn't. It felt like at the same time they just kind of put that in there because they thought that was a good joke. Like
Yeah.
they thought of that, but it didn't make much sense.
Yeah, so
For him to have WeChat.
part of the movie they leave the emoji app and they start to travel around other apps in a phone and they discover all these other apps, one of which was WeChat, and they just popped their heads in for a few minutes and then kind of went along on their way. Didn't explain why the kid Alex had WeChat. Or
He's a well-traveled kid.
well-traveled,
Yeah.
but clearly
Yeah,
because his
China
Instagram pics were in
and Paris.
Yeah, so
He has a lot of troubling things on his phone though. Like he has the fake app that has all of this malware
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
things in it.
And then James Corden's hand emoji character was like, you don't know what a skin is on a phone? He's a teenage boy. He's hiding all of these
Ooh.
things. We were like, oh, what is he hiding in there?
Yikes.
I would have liked to have seen more character development with Alex. You know,
Yeah,
there was
that's
much more
true.
to him.
It's true.
Well, pornography.
Yeah, they could have explored that a little bit more.
He's hiding pornography.
Yeah, we were a little worried what we would find in that app. Mostly just trolls, though. So, okay. Well, I don't think we're gonna have too many highlights, so we'll move sections here to movie low moments. For me, one that still burned into my brain was they played this Just Dance app, and then the app starts to get deleted, and later we go to the trash and find the main character whose cameo is Christina Aguilera, and she's just got like dark eye makeup dripping down, and she just like is robotically doing these hand gestures and like still sort of trying to sing and dance because she wants to dance. And I'm like, this gets pretty dark at
Scary.
times. Like that's burned into my brain now.
Since we've moved on to the negatives about this movie, it has many examples of it just doesn't make sense. There are so many random moments, so many plot holes. I don't know who wrote this movie, but I feel like they had to have been drunk or under the influence of drugs and just thrown something together that is cliche and generic and makes no sense.
And I think you said, Chandler, earlier too, or somebody said something about product placement with all these apps, right?
Oh yeah,
This
for
is
sure.
a giant commercial. I mean, all the
Spotify
name brand
saves the
apps
day.
were in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spotify and
The
Twitter
Twitter bird,
saved,
yeah.
saved the day.
YouTube,
It's all there.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yep. Dropbox was the
Dropbox.
ultimate
Dropbox
place
was
to
a big
be.
one.
Spotify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spotify.
Yeah.
Spotify, yeah.
Shazam. I saw Shazam in there.
Yeah.
So this was just an hour and a half long ad.
Yep.
But they needed that money to get some of
They
those
need
big
the
names
That's
and
true.
also
They need
to
the
get
next
all those songs
generation.
that are in there.
The next generation needs to start getting those apps. So they're getting them when they're young.
I guess so.
And I guess the whole premise of the movie is to start out saying that like this young generation is always on their phone and stuff like that, which they quite frankly are. I have nieces that are like 8 and 9, and they all have old phones, not really connected to stuff now, but like that the rest of us are like, oh, we got new phones here. You can have my old one to play games or whatever. So like even really young kids definitely have all these phones, but yeah, the whole image of the world being where no one can bring their face up from the phone and like have to, I think they said right in the beginning, like, there's no way he can use words to describe how he feels. He needs these emojis. I was like, oh God, what's happening? Like, to me, this whole movie just felt very dark view of the world.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I thought they were going to have more about that since they mentioned it at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, okay, this is going to be about kids these days
Putting the phone
on
down.
their phones.
Yeah, like
Yeah, and maybe
Yeah.
at the end, that could have been a good ending, actually. Alex realizes, oh, I don't need an emoji to share my emotions.
Yeah.
But instead, the moral of the story is, oh, I can use my phone. This is great. I
Yeah.
just used it the right way.
Yeah. The one emoji that can describe my feelings is just live action me. Okay, I guess I'll put my phone down and be me to you. Like that would have been so much better.
Well, and spoiler alert. At the spoiler alert, guy. At the end of the movie, the emojis save the day by Alex. Is that the kid's name?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Mm-hmm.
Sending a text literally to a girl 10 feet away from him to express his own feelings. He could have literally just turned around and said something to her in person, but it had to be sent via text.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the message, what they're trying to say, even though that kind of, they did it in a kind of a bad way, the message is to be yourself, which is good.
Yes.
It's kind of, there's every movie that's kind of like this has that same. I thought a lot about, I think I mentioned this earlier, I thought a lot about the Lego movie while I watched this, because it's very similar, like, it's this sort of, it's this world where all the Lego people are, like all the emojis are there, and they're kind of live to serve kids who play with them and stuff like that, or use them. And then there's that one who's like a misfit, and he goes through this journey to discover, oh, it's okay for me to be different. But Lego Movie's a lot better.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Lego Movie's good.
I think what disturbed me the most was how dark Textropolis, isn't that the name of
Yeah.
the city?
Yeah.
How dark it is. You can't be, they call it a malfunction. And I think it is a commentary on today's world. How it can be hard to be different. So that really got to me. And then the part where they're trying to destroy him, and she has this floss, the Smile character, my Rudolph's character, and she makes it a noose. And I just thought of lynching, and I think that's a little too dark for
Yeah, that's
kids'
what
movie.
I felt like. So many of those things were just a little too undertoned for like. I don't know. I think of my nieces and nephews. I'm like, they're definitely gonna pick up on what is happening right here. Like,
Well, it's such a stupid, like, the whole point is they're trying to get him to not be deleted by the robot people, but then we find out, like, midway through the movie that that's not actually that big of a problem. Because
Right.
the hand is deleted, high five, and they just go get him.
yeah.
Like, so what if he gets deleted? There was, like, no climax to the movie because
No
of that.
repercussions.
That also
Yeah.
reminds me of another troubling sort of plot hole, is that Han gets deleted. He's in the trash. Jean and Jailbreak come to rescue him, put a rope down there, pull him out. He kicks the trolls back down there, and he's like, I'm getting out, like, whatever. And then we're like, oh my god, he's leaving everyone else. Like, the Just Dance girl is down there. They're leaving everyone else in the trash to get destroyed. And then they throw the rope back down. They're like, everyone's free. And then he kicks the whole rope thing in, so none of them can escape again, and they just all run away. I'm like, what is the morals of this? Like,
And
they're
there's
not
no resolve to that
making
either.
sure they free the other people in trouble. Like,
I
They
think
just die.
for me, one of the most unrealistic moments in the movie.
because even so, at the end of the movie, they're going to delete the phone, but they decide not to. Everything comes back, but even in that case, logically, all of those people, characters, whatever, are still in the trash with no rope to get out, waiting for Alex to just delete his trash.
Yeah.
So
Christina
regardless,
Aguilera
they're
is
still
dead.
gonna. She's
Yeah.
sadly, she knew it too. I could see it on her face.
Yes. That brings me to another point. So I have this article pulled up that is, it's by Vulture, and it's 17 of the most disturbing moments in the Emoji Movie.
Yes.
And I think what you were saying really reveals High Five's character.
Yeah.
Because he was like, oh, maybe I should help him. And so he puts it down there, the string down there, and then trips over it, and then just laughs about it.
Yeah.
Doesn't even care. Well, someone brought up an interesting point in this article. It says, much of the High Five's emoji's motivation comes from the fact that he has been displaced from the popular lounge by the fist bump, and he believes he deserves attention again. And so this writer is wondering if High Five could be a Trump voter sympathizing with an oppressive class losing its privileges.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we're onto something.
Wow. I could
And that's
see
where
that.
this podcast turns into a political commentary podcast.
I had no idea the Emoji Movie was so deep.
I wish that the Band-Aid was like MAGA. Red. Also, didn't understand that the hand emoji has a Band-Aid on it.
They never explained that.
No idea. Did you want to read some of those troubling moments?
Yeah, let's see. They really talk a lot about high five in this.
His character really
think
is
it
kind of a
was-
piece
Yeah.
of shit.
Yes. Let's see what else in here. It's a loaded article.
Okay.
While she's finding...
Yeah,
So you mentioned High Five's character being a piece of shit. Speaking of which, the shit emoji.
Yes.
Was maybe my least favorite part of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Because he's only there to make poop jokes.
Yep.
Literally every single time he's on stage, every time he has any kind of line or purpose, there's always a poop joke.
Always a
And he was in it a lot in the beginning. I think
Yeah.
there was several in like the first 10 minutes.
We didn't do a poop joke count.
We
but
should, yeah.
We should have.
There were a lot.
It's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other
get any
character holes. This is another spoiler, big reveal. Jailbreak, one of the main characters, with Jean helping them to try to escape. She's like this hacker-looking girl, gothic maybe, I don't know. And then turns out she's
Do they call them gothics or do they call them goths?
Didn't I say gothic girl?
Gothic girl?
Gothic style?
Yeah, but do people say gothic?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just
Goth
wondering.
girl?
Oh.
I don't know. I
right.
don't know what kids are up to these days.
Okay. Anywho, so turns out she's a princess in disguise. And my favorite part is that every time she would just flip emotions, and she'd be like, "You don't see a man helping me with this," or like saying something completely random, and 2 seconds later, she's just like, "I'm sorry, like let's keep on our journey," or something like that.
Gene's character, I mean, he's honestly a really sweet guy with great intentions.
Yeah, he's so happy, lovable.
What's her name? Not Hacker.
Jailbreak.
Jailbreak. She does treat him pretty bad. Accuses him of misogyny, yells at him, dismisses his emotions.
That's what troubles me in movies like this, where it's like almost trying to push a feminist agenda, but like misses the mark in so many ways because they're making her come off as like a moody, highly emotional, can't make a decision without yelling about men and like whatever. And it's like, okay, in all the ways that you're trying to like have this feminist girl power character, totally miss the mark in everything.
Yeah.
He's like a nice, supportive guy, and like we can cherish good people all around the world despite gender, but because he's a man, she had to like stick it to him.
Right.
Yeah, they were just hopping on the trend right now, and it was so forced.
Yeah.
When did this movie come out? Is it
2017?
17?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Is this before the downfall of T.J. Miller?
I don't know when his downfall was. Oh, you
I'd
mean
be
when
curious.
he left Silicon Valley?
Yeah, like when he got fired.
Yeah, maybe this is the
Oh,
aftermath.
and didn't he like assault someone on a bus or something like that?
I don't know.
I mean,
Oh, it looks like he left. He was doing interviews on why he left Silicon Valley in 2017.
so this might have been what came next.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Which he could have been working on Emoji Movie, left Silicon Valley, and then it came out. And then he was already leaving the show.
Yeah, I think there's lots of politics in this. And this Vulture article is basically just more speculation about the politics. We don't need to get into that. We might be classifying you under a politics podcast.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things, Tessa pulled up a Reddit article or something right after.
I did love that.
You should do
So one thing that was really troubling me was the Band-Aid. I guess it was a Band-Aid on the high five hand. And I couldn't find anything on the internet explaining why, except this one Reddit page. And somebody asked on there, just so troubled by it, why is high five wearing a Band-Aid? And then the first comment on there is, please don't think that hard about this movie. I think that sums it up.
I think that's
There's
pretty,
no point.
pretty accurate.
It is what it is.
One of the more unrealistic things that I found in the movie High five.
One of the most unrealistic. This is an emoji movie.
Well, other than the whole movie.
Okay.
High Five belongs to a club called the Losers Lounge. And he describes it as the lounge where the forgotten emojis or the emojis that are not used often are kept. But we walk into the Losers Lounge, and the first emoji that we see is the eggplant emoji.
Yeah, we all know that's like the most popular emoji.
Especially amongst a 14-year-old boy.
Right, and knowing what we know about Alex.
Yeah.
With the things he's hiding on his phone.
Fake apps.
We know he's sending that eggplant emoji to
What
a lot
was
of
the
people.
skin? Oh, the skin was a dictionary.
Yeah.
It looked like a dictionary app, but when they went into it, that's when all the trolls and the dark
Yeah.
rock music was playing.
I still don't know what that app was.
Yeah, I don't know either.
And there's no peach emoji ever.
And
Which goes
also-
hand in hand with eggplant
Also,
emoji.
he's going into this secret app, and what's in there? Trolls, viruses, and spam.
Is it the
Like,
dark
who
web?
wants to hide those? Like, who
Right.
even wants those things, whether it's mom approved or
Maybe it is
not?
the
Like,
dark
Yeah, I feel
It's
like
the dark web.
Well, the person who wrote this and made this movie doesn't know much about how phones work
Yeah.
and like
Very true.
technology works. So it makes. I bet they do think that that's what like the dark web is, or
Yeah.
what kids are hiding on their phones.
yeah.
I am actually kind of interested to see, though, if I do like a hard reset on my phone, but then just unplug it from something, if that will stop it.
Possibly.
And everything just comes back.
False.
Exactly.
False. You will ruin your phone.
But you don't know if you don't try.
That's right.
One thing that I found really disturbing was how I really only noticed it with the hand characters. They could transform their body into different body parts, like have
Yeah.
a butt or abs. I saw 2 sets of abs on the hands.
On the palm of a hand.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
And
so strange.
I think that will be with me for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
I'm gonna have
disturbing.
nightmares about Just Dance, and you're gonna have nightmares about hand abs.
Yes.
Hand butts.
hand butts.
Gosh.
Hand ab butt.
I'm just going to wake up and have some abs on my hands.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Like I said earlier, there's a lot of moments in this movie that just kind of come out of nowhere. One of them being High Five and what's the
Jailbreak.
no
Gene.
Gene.
Oh, okay.
God.
You can call him meth.
Meh.
Eh. Oh yeah. Did we even say that he's supposed to be a meh emoji?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
We
So
can
he's supposed to be a meh emoji,
He's
but
supposed
he
to be a meh
has
emoji,
all
but
of the.
he's got a lot of emotion. I just think he's able to express his feelings in a way that society doesn't necessarily approve of. So he's getting a traditional male gender role pushed on him, where men are supposed to be stoic and strong. But just because he can express himself, all of a sudden he's
Or not necessarily
malicious.
even male, because his
Or
mom
what-
was a
Yeah.
meh too,
Yeah.
but just like
Malfunction.
what you're supposed to be,
Malfunction.
a stereotype of what you're supposed to be.
Anyway, so he leaves the emoji app. He's trying to find a way to reprogram himself. His parents decide to follow him, who are also both meh emojis. This leads them, for some reason, after they've entered the YouTube app and watched a video about a kitten. After they leave the app, for some reason, the wife says to
No,
his
it's not for
dad-
some reason, because the dad goes, he's a malfunction. He calls the son a malfunction, and the mom just can't handle that he said that.
Yeah.
So that's really why.
Well, she says, "You're just not the emoji I knew. I'm leaving you." I
Yeah.
was like, what? If that's like, their marriage must not be built on a lot if it takes one thing.
Yeah.
Or is there a lot of stuff in their backstory that we don't know about, that this is the last
Maybe
straw?
these characters
be.
are
So
very deep.
I would love to
guess so.
see Emoji Movie 2.
No.
The prequel.
The prequel that is the relationship story between Gene's parents.
And you could watch that by yourself, because
That's
I'm,
right.
I'm not going to
That's
watch
not-
that.
I mean, if it takes place in Paris, I'll watch it. With
That's
you.
right.
Because I
If
did
it
like
takes
that
place in
scene.
Paris.
Well, that's what was even more like. So they have the scene where just all of a sudden the wife's like, "I'm leaving you. We're getting a divorce," and then you don't see the parents again for the rest of the movie until the next scene when they get back together. So there's like if that happens, and that's a story arc that's
This
happening.
relationship
Also-
is
But then
fragile.
it's over.
Also, I just thought about that. A prequel to the Emoji Movie wouldn't exist because emojis are so recent.
Right.
So there is no backstory.
Well, what if the prequel to the Emoji Movie was just a movie about people typing like :ampersands?
Well, they referenced that
Ooh.
right in the beginning
Oh,
of the
yeah,
movie.
they do.
Did you guys see that?
They're like in wheelchairs and really old
Emoticons.
people.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, let me help you up, old timer," and
Right.
it's like a colon, and he's like, "My colon."
Ooh, did you guys have a
Oh, I get
favorite
that joke
little
now.
shape that you would make? Would you guys just make like regular smiley faces or hearts in your text? What would you make?
It was normally
Did we do
it was
something?
normally an 8 with 4 equal signs, and then a capital D,
I shouldn't have asked.
and then hyphen, hyphen, hyphen.
Oh my god.
I do remember, like, if you were doing the heart emoji, the less than 3 one, and if you felt like really, really strongly about it, you could add more 3s. So it'd be like heart, but then just so many 3s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many of
girls
those
did
did
you
you
send
send?
I had so many. Ooh. Yikes.
Oh man. Man, well, the next kind of topic is acting, but I don't feel like that's a very easy one for this movie because it's not acting; it's animals.
Yeah.
It's voice acting, and to that extent, it's not bad
Yeah,
voice
they did a good
acting.
Well, they have a good, like, I mean, maybe not good cast, but it's like big names.
Yeah.
Like, which is really surprising. Like James Corden's in it,
Yeah.
and Anna Faris.
Yeah, I don't know. I think when I first heard Maya Rudolph's voice, I didn't want to believe it was her because I didn't know she was in the movie. And I finally had to accept it. No, that really is her.
Yeah. I think there's 2 actors that I think made sense for this movie, and one of them, I think it made sense that T.J. Miller was in this movie, just trying to be in movies. The other one was James Corden's character. I
That's
felt
what
like
makes sense for him to be in a movie, is him just trying to be in movies.
It's gotta take something. Yeah.
I've recently seen him in a lot of skincare commercials, I believe. You
Oh,
might
James
want to fact
James Corden?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
might want to fact check me. I'm going to fact check
No,
myself.
I think
Oh,
you're
no,
right.
it's
It's like a
skin-
Japanese.
I thought that was a
skincare
TV
company.
show.
I don't
But
know
it's
what
just
that
a
was, but I've
skincare
seen
It's a skincare
ads.
commercial where it's like a Japanese one, and I've seen it in other languages too.
Yeah, because I think it's James Corden and then someone else, and then like 2 of Japan's like most famous people or something.
Yes.
Which James Corden is not one of our most famous people, but I thought the hand character worked really well for him because it was just someone who wanted to be in the spotlight at all times.
Yeah.
Tried to
Like
get
that's
some-
kind of pretty close to
He
James
got a couple
Corden.
Yeah.
singing scenes in there too.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And
All right. How's this for a segment here? We sort of talked about how much money this made. So
Oh,
budget for this movie
yeah.
was $50 million.
okay.
Okay.
Makes sense, I think, for animated, and plus all of the actors that they had.
Oh
and
yeah,
everything like that's.
now that we're
I
talking
mean,
about
pretty
animation,
fair. Yeah.
The animation wasn't that good.
No.
No,
It
the-
wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like
I mean, it was supposed to be
glaringly
like
bad.
cartoony.
Right.
It didn't
Yeah,
match
but-
up with the voices.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Half the time.
Yeah.
It felt like early DreamWorks
Uh-huh.
animations, which is to say they were not good.
Yeah, no, I agree for sure. Well, and a lot of times I felt like it didn't, like, yeah, it didn't match up with the voice, like you said, Tessa, or like it just didn't look like it felt like kind of emotionless, and not just because they're like only have one
Yeah.
emoji, but even some of the characters who are supposed to,
Yeah.
like
Well,
the
that's-
boy and stuff like that.
Yeah, the
Real-
poo emoji too. Like
Right.
honestly, I could have put him as like the sad emoji or the meh emoji, like with just
Yeah.
how his feelings were. Or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so $50 million was the budget for this movie. Any guesses on what the box office was?
So it did go to box office. It wasn't straight to streaming.
No, I remember it. The
No, it
theatrical
was out.
release.
I'm gonna say that this movie made $4 million.
Wow, so you think that it lost money big time?
Oh, it had to have.
Okay,
Sure.
I don't know, but
yeah,
parents are stupid. They take their kids to see it.
it's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably agree with you. I think.
Okay.
Not good with guessing, but
Well, Maya Rudolph was in it.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt.
Made 5.
I could see it making 10 million.
Okay.
Double.
You're such an optimist.
Guys,
Yeah.
box office 218,000. Wait, I can't
218,000 million? Good God.
That's a lot of
read numbers.
zeros.
Guys, I was homeschooled. I can't read numbers. 218 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Parents will spend money on their kids.
You will.
Jeez.
Well,
So commercially, it was a success.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Wow.
that,
Yeah. Well, let's see what the critics have to say about it. So these are reviews actually on Rotten Tomatoes. And then I have selected some actual like film critics to read their reviews here. Megan Garber from The Atlantic says, The Emoji Movie is not just a critical flop, but also a metaphor for a Hollywood that is struggling to find the line between branding that audiences love and branding that audiences resent.
Oh.
I feel like,
I like that.
mean, Chandler kind of commented on that a little bit. It's just, a big advertisement.
Yeah.
Only went too far. Like, I mean, you think of movies like that I loved, like The Goonies and E.T. and stuff like that when I was younger. And there was definitely product placement, Reese's
Ruth.
Pieces,
Right.
Yeah.
pizza,
For
like
sure.
all this kind of stuff. But like, it was like this kind of hint part of the movie.
Yeah.
But this was just like everywhere you turn, there's a brand joke.
Yeah, for
Yes.
sure.
Hurry up, we gotta get to Just Dance, so then we can go to Spotify,
And
and,
it's-
then Dropbox.
Yeah, and they didn't just go through the app; they actually experienced the app.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So
this
it
is
was-
all just a big
Yeah,
This movie's-
capitalistic
yeah,
This movie's
thing.
garbage.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it worked on
Notice
people.
this reviewer though said it's a critical flop, which means the critics hated it, but
Yes.
commercially it made money.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Oh, also I wonder because 50 million. Granted, I am not in the film industry, but I feel like animation is expensive, and for how many like stars they had in that, I feel like
Yeah.
50 million is kind of a small budget almost. I wonder if they got sponsored by all these companies.
I'm sure
in
they
some way.
did.
Yeah.
For
No doubt.
Yeah.
a reference point, what was the budget on like Toy Story 4, I wonder?
Let me
Ooh,
find
good
out real
question.
quick.
Because
sure a
I
lot.
think you could say the same thing about both these movies, although Toy Story 4 was much better. It didn't need to be made.
Oh wow! Budget for Toy Story 4, 200 million.
Oh, okay,
There you
that's
go.
a good reference point.
Quad the budget.
Wow.
That's
the
insane.
first Toy Story, 30 million.
Wow.
Lion King that just came out, 260 million.
Yeah.
So like,
that one's massive.
so
You gotta give them some credit.
I give myself credit for knowing that 50 million is small. I mean, I'm impressed with myself.
I just want help paying off my student loan debt.
Yeah, couldn't
But they
instead
had
of
to
making
have-
the Emoji Movie, couldn't that have just gone towards?
They
helping
had to
us?
have gotten sponsorship for that.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, because otherwise, don't you think that they would have to have like purchased the rights to use all these different
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
things and stuff like
Yeah.
that? So, I mean, that would be so expensive.
Samin Amr, from the Express Tribune, says this story is downright nonsensical.
Agreed.
Agreed. 10 out of 10
You
agreed.
said it better.
All right. David Keyes from cinemaphile.org says, you know you are in the middle of something cynical when the most interesting character in a cartoon is a walking digital hand whining about no longer being popular.
With a mysterious bandana. He's so layered.
Oh, man. All right. And again, I like to start and end with a positive note here. We're going to do one of the positive reviews, which is an actual critic. So Jake Wilson, he's from The Age, which is an Australian reporting agency. I don't know what's the term for that.
Reporting agency?
Words.
Publication?
Publication. There
That's
you
the word.
go. I need an emoji to describe this. He
It's
says,
happening.
if I'm not dreaming, I've just seen one of the boldest mainstream American movies in ages. 4 stars out of 5.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess
What?
bold is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
He's from Australia?
That's a
I wonder
reach.
how much he was paid.
Yeah.
He was also sponsored by Dropbox.
That's right.
A reviewer from Dropbox.com. This movie was incredible.
Okay, so 7% on Rotten Tomatoes. Do we have alternate ratings? Do you want to stick with what you guys thought it would be rated? We're gonna do an average here. What we think it should be rated.
Oh boy.
I think that I feel comfortable with that 4. I think I'm gonna give it
Yeah.
a 4.
You feel good with the
I'm
4?
gonna
Yeah.
stay where I was at.
I
Yeah.
like the 2.
2.
There's just nothing redeemable for it.
The more I think about it, I did laugh some, mainly at this movie's expense. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3. And the average is...
Yeah, we had
The
the drum
average
roll
is-
and everything.
Sorry, I was reading it.
3.25?
3.25. That's
Man.
our rating.
All right.
Wow.
Seems fair.
Seems fair.
Now, guys, if you want to check our math, go ahead and leave a comment.
This is always the section we have trouble with. Okay, I will also say, Joe shamelessly plugged the Whiskey Fix at the beginning of the show. Chandler, do you have anything you want to plug?
Anything I want to plug? Oh man,
Yeah.
I didn't think about this. I would like to plug Spotify and Dropbox and WeChat.
Yeah.
And hey, Instagram. What's your
And Instagram, that's
Instagram
right.
handle?
At Chan Coop, it's deactivated at the moment.
Okay.
But I'll get it back at some point.
So just go to Dropbox.
Yeah.
Tessa, anything to plug?
I'll plug my Instagram. Tessa J. Cooper, not Coop. Tessa J. Cooper.
It was almost Tessa J. Coop. Right?
Already taken.
Yep. Darn.
Cool. Well, guys, thanks for watching that, coming over, spending the afternoon with us,
Absolutely.
and discussing your thoughts on the Emoji Movie.
Anytime.
Yes.
Thanks for having us.
Always a pleasure,
Wonderful.
Pam.
Yep.
Cream of the crab.
All together now.
Cream of the crab. That actually sounded pretty good.
Wow, you spend your hard-earned time listening to this crap. And for that, from the bottom of my emoji heart, thank you. Thank you for listening, spending your time with us. Hopefully you are hitting subscribe on whatever platform you listen to, whether that be Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. And hopefully you're giving us a follow over on Instagram. Our handle is @ExtraWhip. Again, thanks for your time. Thanks for your support. Thanks for your input. Hopefully you'll be our next guest. Talk to you later.